right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Sudhir Srivastava. He is the founder, chairman, and CEO of SS Innovations. Sudhir leads the development of the SSO Mantra surgical robotics system and other novel medical technologies from SS Innovations. With unmatched expertise in robotic cardiac surgery, he has conducted over 1,400 procedures, including 750 beating heart TECAB cases, establishing the world's most extensive experience in the field. To our live viewers, please type any questions that you may have into the chat box, and time permitting, I'll announce those at the end of his presentation. With that all said, Dr. Srivastava, I'll be right here if you need anything, but the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. And my sincere thanks to the Money Show for this participation. And I'm really delighted, and hopefully we can have some question answer at the end. So what I'll do, I'll start out with sharing my screen. And I think I need your permission, Charlotte. There we
Now?
are.
Perfect.
Okay. Here we go, and I'll enter into the full screen. So this afternoon or evening, whatever time zone one is in, I'm going to talk about the progress of surgical robotics, and particularly with a focus on our SS Innovation Mantra system. And this is a typical disclosure. So currently, our company existence is at a public company level, and we merged with Avra Medical Robotics Inc., and currently are on OTC with a symbol of SSII. And this is our corporate structure at this point in time. And the IP belongs to the SS Innovations. And our main operations and R&D and manufacturing and assembly is taking place in India, in a place called Gurgaon, which is very close to New Delhi. So the whole mission was to really create a gold standard healthcare affordable surgical robotic system. And what I would like to do is share a little bit of my personal journey as to why I got involved with the robotics in the first place. So back in 90s, I got interested in trying to do minimally invasive surgeries. We all got trained as heart surgeons, splitting the sternum, which was great for the surgeons, but not for the patients. So in 2000, the robotics became available, and I really pushed the envelope and developed a lot of world's first type of procedure, starting in 2002, built our own hospital, and then did a very large number of robotic cases with the first generation of system. So huge benefits among the patients, 20% patients going home next day after surgery, and 50% going home in 2 days or less, and average length of stay 3.2 days. And these patients recovered fast, went home, and got back to their functional status within a week to 10 days. And it was really inspiring and very encouraging to see that we could really change the direction of recovery for a lot of these patients. And then I moved on to University of Chicago from West Texas and launched their program as director of robotic cardiac surgery. I was on the faculty. And then Atlanta, which is now part of Emory system. And then in 2011, moved to India to launch robotic programs and purchased the Da Vinci system myself for almost $1.4 million, and found very quickly that the cost of the system was very, very difficult for patients to afford. So in 2012, made a decision to really develop a system that will become not only more advanced because of the newness of our development and manufacturing, but also be cost effective. So with that, I took this journey. It took time. The entrepreneurial and innovation journeys are not easy, ups and downs. And finally, we were able to successfully raise funding. And so this is what I'm going to share with you. One is as to what is the global market opportunity, what is the real need for the patients, as well as cover on our technology. So the board of directors, we have got some very prominent people. Barry Cohen was the founder of Avra. Dr. Vishwa, he's a physician. And Dr. Annadurai, I might say a word for him. He was a former chairman of ISRO, which is the Indian Space Research Organization, equivalent of NASA in the United States. And he was known as a moon man, and he has joined us. Dr. Somashekar is a very prominent robotic surgeon in the country, and we are very glad to have him. Very renowned advisory board. These are all world's who's who cardiac surgeons around the world. And so we have wonderful advisory board, again, of very, very successful and very prominent surgeons helping our project in India. So the benefits of robotic surgery really include that we are able to do these operations, very complex operations, through tiny fingertip size incisions. And this allows patients to have less pain. The recovery is very fast. Infection risk is reduced, and blood and blood products utilization goes down. And the best part that these patients leave the hospital soon and get back to their functional status much, much faster than any other approaches. And various technology attributes that are available, they really help the surgeon to achieve these goals. Also, we are finding the populations are growing older, the diseases are increasing. So the whole vision was that we must change the direction of medicine, how we treat patients whenever surgery is required. And so where we have in SS Innovation at this point in time, a very strong management team and advisory board. We are very focused on the robotic expertise, and with my leadership over the years and a lot of friends around the world who are part of this project, it is really wonderful. There's a huge market opportunity. I think various consulting firms give you different projections, but one of the projection talks about the market growing from 5.5 billion today to 17 billion or more by 2031. And what we are focused on is the cost structure without compromising the quality. And currently, we have a company that is producing revenues, over 160 plus team. Majority of them are technical team and engineers. And there's a huge potential, not just in India, but also in remaining parts of the world. So this just gives you a very quick global perspective. From roughly 360 million surgeries in 2020, it is projected to get closer to 500 million. And from the robotic side, from 1.6 million, it is almost going 4 times to over 6 million. And I think the field will change. Previously, it was dominated by one company. Now, quite a few other companies are also coming in the field. So there's a tremendous awareness of the robotic surgery today in the world, and more patients are demanding. So I think the affordability factor was a major issue where SSI has really addressed that, and we hope to be a major factor in this growth. This just shows some of the historical data and the projections. There's 11% projected CAGR, and in terms of the financial side of this thing, and as well as it will continue to really grow. India, I think, will experience greater growth in terms of the percentage of CAGR because of where it is today. And India is with this huge population of 1.4 billion and 70,000 hospitals. There are only around 140 or 150 robotic systems. And in fact, only 100 or so are utilized. And the biggest reason for this deficiency in India has been the cost and the steep learning curve. So our goal as SSI was to really address both of these issues and to create a system that will be easier to use and be cost effective. And so when we look at the number of surgeries also performed in India, it is less than 1%. And this really is across the scene. And I just want to share what the global numbers are. So if you take United States, Europe, and Japan, one system that dominates covers literally almost 93% within these 3 jurisdictions. So there's only 7% of the penetration for over 7 billion people today in the world. And what that means is access is very limited in many, many countries around the world. So the growth potential for an affordable system is absolutely phenomenal. So I will now switch over to what we have as a mantra system. It is very different than any other company's robotic system. It is a modular design, and that means every arm is mounted separately. We have provided an open face surgeon console, and then everybody sees exactly the same view in 3D as the surgeon. So just a few close-ups here. Surgeon command center, it is very ergonomic. You get to sit straight with your back against the chair. Large monitor, which is very helpful in surgical operations. Bigger the magnification, better and more precise you are. And all the safety measures are there. And ours is the only system that is prepared right from the beginning for up to 5 robotic arms. Hand controls are very ergonomic, and because this is the thing that the surgeon holds in the hand to be able to do the teleoperation away from the console. So it is very important that they are very ergonomic and they do not produce fatigue either of the fingers or of the arms. Modular design, and as I mentioned, because of the separate cards, one can use either 3, 4, or 5 arms. The standard system has 4 arms, and it's a very small footprint, very easy to dock, and absolute stability. There are no vibrations or jerks, and where the motorized controls that are in a touch panel, and we hope to make this completely autonomous at a point in time. The vision card, this is the card that the tableside team sees for guidance. And we are the only ones in the world today that there is a 3D same vision as the surgeon on a large 32 high definition view. And both the monitors for surgeon and the tableside team, as well as our camera system, is now in 4K resolution. We are partnered with Olympus, which is a great company. And in my opinion, I think they have the best resolution. And currently it is 4K. What it does, it gets rid of 2 endoscopes and becomes cost effective and gives a better, completely global view inside the body cavity. We have very sophisticated software that we have created guidance for the tableside team in relation to procedures. And one can just pick on the menu, and it tells you where to make the incisions, how to position the table, cars, and the entire procedure. Basically, you take out the guesswork from them, and so it will become more efficient. Over 30 different types of instrument for multi-specialty and cardiac. With my experience, and also no other company actually is touching cardiac. So we are focusing on cardiac because many specialties have endoscopic options, but in cardiac surgery, we still are splitting the sternum for almost all patients. So the focus was to really revive this field whereby we can actually do surgery through tiny incisions and make the recovery of these patients much, much faster. This is our crown jewel. This is an automated anastomotic connector, and literally joins 2 arteries in a heart bypass surgery within 6 seconds, reproducible. And there are 2 versions. One is a robotic and another is handheld. So even in open cases, one can use this device, which will absolutely revolutionize the field of coronary bypass surgery. And again, these are some of the technologies. We are also very focused in the developing field of virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality. And our team has created whereby we can literally take any of these images, CT, MRI, or echo, and convert them into models, into holograms. And this will be great for teaching and training purposes. And you literally see the anatomy right in front of you. So currently we have this ISO 13485 approval by a third party, internationally recognized standard. And this is required for all medical devices. Also, we have the CDSCO certification, which is the regulatory body in India, and Make in India certification, which allows us to be on the government e-marketplace. And because of this accomplishment, the various central government institutions, Army, Railway, and the government hospitals, they preferentially have to purchase our system. And we are already on the pathway to initiate the process for the US FDA as well as the European approvals. And we hope that in 24, we should have both of these approvals in place to be able to get to all the global markets. So what we have today as value drivers, we have clinically validated our system. Over 200 successful surgeries have been done. We have placed 7 of our systems commercially in various hospitals now, and we have almost 10 or 11 purchase orders in hand, and more are in the pipeline. And this is considering we realistically launched all of this thing this year. So we are moving very fast. We have all kinds of very innovative product line. Apart from the Mantra system, we are developing single arm applications for all kinds of tele-diagnosis and teletherapies, and really pushing this whole envelope in relation to what is called the metaverse today. We have a huge cost advantage compared to other systems. We are almost 30% of the cost without compromising the quality. And the market opportunity is huge. India alone this year is expected to have a growth to around $300+ million within the country. And as I pointed out earlier, we really are aiming to help the underserved population with our current system because of the cost. And this problem is everywhere. It is universal. So many developing economies have not been able to take this benefit of the wonderful technology because of the cost and the steep learning curve. We have a IP portfolio of 120 various filings, and a majority of them have been granted at this point in time. And we have been filing this in 6 global jurisdictions, including United States, Europe, Japan, Korea, and India. So with that, I will stop here, and I want to thank you to the Money Show organization for giving us this opportunity. And I would really love to entertain questions from the people who are watching the show. And there's a lot more to get into, so if the time permits, I can discuss more. So thank you again, and I'll stop sharing my screen at this point.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We do have a few questions already, and I'm
Great.
sure we'll get a couple more. This first one is from Dave. He's asking, how do you differentiate, excuse me, your company from others such as Intuitive Surgical?
Yeah. So Intuitive Surgical has been around for almost 27 years. In 95, it was founded. And so essentially, they inherited the intellectual property from Stanford Research Institute that was funded by NASA and the Defense Department. So basically, they developed based on the existing IP, and the core technology has remained pretty much same, and except adding another arm and adding new bells and whistles and changing the design. In our case, we firstly have developed everything from scratch ourselves. It's truly developed by the team in India. And the system at every level is different with Intuitive. The surgeon command center, you're sitting hunched over and you don't see your hands and feet. And of course, everybody learns, but it just takes longer time. And these technology features in our surgeon command center with a larger monitor, a larger 2D monitor that we can literally see the images in a meaningful way, and up to 5 arms. So that is very different. In terms of their vision card, they offer only 2D vision even today. And in our case, it is 3D because in my opinion, it is safer. The learning curve is shorter for the teams because the hesitation is gone. They know exactly where to go. Accidents are avoided. And ultimately, it translates into safer and a faster and better quality outcome in relation to the vision card. And the system is also has already built-in recording playback capabilities. And we are prepared to do actual tele-mentoring with our system. And because this is a huge thing, that we can guide people sitting wherever using the high-speed connectivity today and 5G that exists now. Again, the robotic arms are mounted separately. With Da Vinci, it is mounted, all the four arms are mounted on one central beam. And at times there are collisions, and of course, in our system, we can use up to 5 arms. So I think all that flexibility is there, and because of the modular design of these robotic arms, we can place them wherever required based on the target anatomy, the body habitus, and the operating room configuration. Of course, the other thing is cost is a major difference between us and Da Vinci. It's literally less than half to one-third across the board in terms of the capital cost for acquisition, running cost for consumables, as well as the maintenance costs for the hospitals.
Thank you so much. This next question from Stanford is asking, and apologies if you've already covered any of this, what US or other patents currently cover your products? And are there any systems currently undergoing testing, or are you still in the design phase?
So first of all, our patent portfolio is very different. In fact, in India, particularly, Intuitive never filed a single patent. And we have a full team of IP strategists who look at the landscape of the filed patents and make sure that we do not have conflicts or we are not infringing on other companies' patents. So we are very careful from that. So our IP portfolio is pretty novel. As far as the second part of the question, we are no longer in the R&D phase. We completed that last year. We conducted animal trials, cadaver, and clinical trials successfully. And then subsequently, we have now commercially launched our system, which, as I mentioned earlier, is now in 7 hospitals. Quite a few purchase orders are further in hand. Over 200 different types of procedures have been done in almost every specialty, including cardiac. And so from mouth down to pelvis and everything in between. So we have had no device-related complication whatsoever at this point in time and in any form. So we are actually past R&D and currently in commercial phase, and revenue experience is there at this point.
Thank you very much. This next question from Gerard, if you're able to answer, how much debt does SS Innovations currently carry?
I'll have to defer it to some of our people, but I think we are pretty much debt-free. Most of the monies have come as investments, and we did have convertible notes earlier on, which have been converted now into shares. And so essentially, and I personally funded the company in a variety of ways. So we really, do not have commercial debt other than maybe a few $1 million as working capital lines at this point.
Right, thank you so much. This next question, another one from Stanford, is asking, what's the size of your sales team, and is it internal staff or are you using any third parties?
So currently, we are mainly in India and focused on surrounding countries. So in India, we have direct sales and clinical support. And our team is, I would say, somewhere around total between these two divisions, clinical support and marketing, somewhere between 15 to 20 people. And then we have a group of consultants that have agreed to help out with the sales on a certain commission basis. So we have, I would say, a fairly decent number of those types of people. As far as, so in India, we have completely direct support internally. Outside, we have distribution models or partnership models. And we have been approached by various countries around us, including we just received, a clearance in Middle East. So we are going through distributors there. So in every other country, we will have a distribution model for selling.
Fantastic answer. Thank you. And another question we have from Breadwinner Group is asking, do you see yourselves incorporating VR technology and all? And they had a follow-up question. What do you think of the new Apple VR technology launch?
Sure. So absolutely, we already have incorporated VR technology. We are actually using it for all kinds of virtual every single thing, in converting images into holograms, placing these things into a virtual model. We are looking at virtual surgery, virtual operating rooms. So all that is already part of our division that we are calling Maya. And Apple, I know it just came out, so I am still learning more about it. But Apple generally comes up with great products. So one of the things that, in terms of the surgical side, so these types of head-mounted various glasses that are there today, they cover the eyes completely. So those are great for teaching, training purposes. But I think in the surgical arena itself, surgeons want actually orientation to the operating room. So we, in fact, are developing ourselves augmented reality glasses, where not only you will have this video, wonderful high definition view in front of you, which is opaque, but also you will have the peripheral vision. So yes, it is the future, and we are absolutely committed and moving very rapidly on this whole metaverse thing.
Well, that is actually very interesting. We do have another question that just came in from Dave Lunn asking, what are the main obstacles that you have in moving forward with things like automated surgery?
See, automated surgery, one is, there are some serious regulatory hurdles that one has to cross. And what I see with AI and machine learning, and literally doing virtual surgery on the images, 3D reconstructed images, you can almost record your motions or various commands that you are transmitting from your hand controls onto the robotic arms and instruments. So I would say initially, certain parts of procedures that are, the organ system that are relatively fixed, I think over a period of time, we would be able to introduce what I call partial automation for certain things. But definitely, this is a field that will evolve. And there's a great opportunity to be able to do a lot of things in, certain, with a certain degree of automaticity, because human body is such that variations can be there, and various respiratory motions that occur and so on. But I think with the way the AI and machine learning is advancing, and by recording of the videos and trying to duplicate those motions through teaching and through machine learning and AI, it will be possible. And I think this will be a great thing as we move forward towards telesurgery in later advanced stages.
Thank you. We do have a follow-up question from Stanford regarding testing in clinical trials. He said, was the testing done only in India, and for clinical trials, were these using FDA protocols?
So, as I mentioned earlier, currently we have only approval in India. And in India, we did clinical trials that were acceptable to the regulatory bodies and the hospital. So hospitals do have the ethics committee. And so all these things were done under Indian protocols established by the regulatory bodies and by the ethics committees. As far as FDA is concerned, as I mentioned earlier, we are moving forward with the FDA, and we will conduct whatever the trials that are required under the FDA approved protocols. So all this so far has been done in India.
All right, we have Stanford actually says, thank you very much. He's going to go and check out the virtual hall below, which all of you are free to do if you'd like to learn some more information. We have just a minute left here, and I think we got through just about all of the questions. So do you have any closing notes for those of our live audience right now?
Sure. So I think, robotic surgery is wonderful for patients. It will be the future. And as SSI, we really hope to be part of this visionary journey to change the direction for surgery for many, many patients literally around the world. And as Dr. Vishwa calls it, the forgotten world, because I think the healthcare is a right, not a privilege for rich economies or rich people. So our goal is to really democratize this wonderful technology and techniques for most of the world. So with that, I will stop.
All right. So we have just a couple of minutes left here, and I do have Barry Cohen in the room with me now. Barry, can you hear me okay?
Let me see.
I can hear you right now, Barry.
Okay, I'm unmuted and I.
Perfect. Here, I'll stop my screen share so we can see your beautiful face. Hello. All right, everyone.
Thank
This is
you.
Barry
Thank
Cohen. He's
you.
a director with SS Innovations. He's here today to just answer a couple of final questions in these last minutes. We did have one from John. He was just saying, he said, as an enthusiastic engineer, how can I get in contact and work in this industry? I know that's a little bit of a general question, but also just how can people get in contact with you? What's the best way to get invested and to get connected with you?
Well, we're not an employment agency, but I hear from them all the time with engineers who are very, very keen about entering the medical robot field, which, as far as I'm concerned, is truly in its infancy. But if John has a specific request about how to find a job in the industry, please give him my contact. I'll be glad to walk him through my experience with engineering teams and the routine that they normally would follow.
Thanks so much, Barry. So what are some things, what are you most excited about going forward? You know, what's coming up, and what can we look forward to in the next year with SS Innovations?
Well, you understand that if there was ever a company created with a vision, it certainly is SSI. And the reality is, from the get-go, we all have an incredible amount of familiarity with the Da Vinci system. We're all very familiar with it. This company has a vision, if you will, to make affordable precision robotic surgery available to everybody. And as Dr. Savastava said, he may not have been precise. We do have an export license. We are all veterans of medical robotics. I've been in it for 17 years. Dr. Frederick Mall, one of my colleagues in this company, was also the founder of Intuitive. Dr. Savastava is the doctor who actually obtained the cardiac FDA approvals in America for the Da Vinci. And we're taking this experience, and as we go forward, we will apply to the FDA for the US marketing ability. We are applying in the Europe for the CE mark. And we have been absolutely joyfully inundated with requests from all over the world. We've already had a conference in Central America. We have requests from Argentina, Brazil. The cost of our product is nominal compared to the competition. And we believe that we will be shipping our product globally within the coming year. We know that we will be booked solid through the end of this year already. And we have also received our first order from an Indian government hospital. One particular hospital system that we're keenly interested in does an enormous, by American standards, approximately 40 heart surgeries a day. They'd like to get up to 100. And the mantra system with the fifth arm is the key element in making that happen. So our numbers will be something to pay a lot of attention to for investors. And the experience that we're going to share in a very transparent way. We will be bringing our systems to Africa, Nepal, Bangladesh, you name it, places without Western budgets that can now afford this type of surgery for their patients.
Really fantastic, Barry. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's really interesting. If I understand correctly, you'll be with us tomorrow afternoon as well for some more questions, if anyone would like any more information then, correct?
That's correct.
Sounds good. And then also in the meantime, everyone, if you do want to reach out for some more info, you can feel free to just check out their virtual booth. It's below the video player right now, but you can also check it out all throughout the virtual show and go ahead and submit an inquiry via their inquiry submission form there. All right, Barry, that does conclude our time for this session today, but everyone, we're looking forward to speaking with him again tomorrow. And to those of you in our live audience, please be sure to stay tuned as we have a lot more in store for you today. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thank you.